Parliament for the UK Independence Party, and he joins me now. Welcome.
Good morning.
To you, Mr. Farage. I mean, it does seem now that this process of Brexit is proceeding much more smoothly, that we know what's been agreed or is being agreed and what isn't being agreed, and it's certainly not the sort of Brexit that you were hoping for.
No, I mean, this summit for Leave voters is a very disappointing moment. We did not vote for a transition period. We thought Article 50 was going to be the transition period. And, you know, we were here in December when a whole lot of concessions were made on money and the role of the European Court. And here we are in March making yet more concessions. And this time it's fishing. So it's very, very difficult for Leave voters to think we're going to get anything other than Brexit in name only.
I mean, on fishing, the message to Leave voters is, look, we need this transition because there's a lot to sort out, but we will look after your interests at the end of the process.
We've heard it before. That's the problem. When you promise once that you're going to do it, when we leave the European Union, you then say it's not going to happen. You've got a 21-month period in which hundreds more British fishermen will go out of business. That's how serious this is. And I didn't hear from Michael Gove any absolute definite that at the end of transition we take back territorial waters.
But isn't there a simple truth that I think the estimates are that the British fishing industry is 1/200th of our national GDP? Now, if you look at...
you can't talk about a group of people like that. And the reason it's so small is because 40 years ago, 45 years ago, we traded fishing as a chip to join the common
but what I'm
market.
saying is you used to be a city trader. The city is very important to the British economy. If the city can get the sort of deal it wants on Brexit, isn't it worth trading off the fishermen?
I think that fisheries, our territorial waters, are the ultimate acid test of Brexit. Are we going to take back what is rightfully ours, or aren't we? This isn't about money. This is actually about sovereignty. It's about why we voted to leave.
But on the other hand, isn't what's going on here today about Russia, with strong, united condemnation of Russia and the consideration of further measures, precisely proof of why perhaps Brexit wasn't such a great idea?
Well, it's precisely proof of why our Prime Minister's very confused and is sending out mixed messages. On the one hand, we're leaving the European Union, we're going to be an independent country. To listen to what's being said about Russia, you would think we're re-signing up for an EU foreign policy. So, again, the public...
Except we're leading it, aren't we? I mean, we are saying what we want. I mean, you're rather fond of President Putin, but...
Well, no, that's not fair. That's not fair.
Well, you've expressed admiration
I respect the fact that he's a strong leader, which is slightly different. Look,
do you think he's responsible for the poisonings?
Well, I think Russia are, but whether it's him or not, I've absolutely no idea. What I do know
think there's
is
a difference.
What I do, well, of course, it could well be, you know, a vengeful former
but, I mean,
agent.
Mrs. May has made it clear that she thinks Putin is to blame either way. Either he did it directly, or he lost control of a state asset, which is chemical weapons.
And that may well be right. But what is interesting is the way this is being politicised here, to say, look, we're all united in Europe. A couple of comments from the French administration that weren't on side were quickly put back into line. And, of course, what this place wants to do, let's just remember, since we voted Brexit, they've made it clear by 2025 they will complete a European Army, Air Force and Navy and have a foreign policy where member states on their own will not be able to use veto. And I think, if you look at the role of the European Union in all of this, it's still expansionist to the east, and I think we should be very, very careful.
But, well, hang on, what do you mean expansionist to the east?
It was the European Union and NATO wanting Ukraine to join them that led to this provocation.
Well, it wasn't actually, was it? Because the European
place.
Union decided that they would go for a partnership deal and that Ukraine would never join.
As a route to them joining.
And why not?
And do remember that when the coup took place in Kiev, those conducting it were waving European Union flags.
But what's wrong with countries that used to be under Soviet domination in the Warsaw Pact, or indeed part of the Soviet Union, wanting to join what is a Western democratic alliance?
I think any study of history will show you that Russia is one of the most paranoid countries that has ever existed on Earth.
So we let it bully us.
So you leave a buffer state. That is what in history you do. And the other thing history teaches us, if you poke the Russian bear with a stick, he's always going to react.
Sounds like you've still got quite a lot of sympathy for the way Russia's behaving in a nationalistic sense.
No, I don't at all. I wouldn't want to live there, and certainly you and I wouldn't want to be journalists there or politicians there. We'd disappear. But understand history, understand the paranoia of Russia, and please, can we finally accept that the eastward expansion of the European Union with NATO has gone as far as it needs to.
And it's just tough for Ukraine or Poland or any of those other countries, that their sovereignty has to be compromised because of Russia's ambition.
Poland has joined, but I do think leave the Ukraine as a buffer. I think we've both sides in this have made some bad mistakes.
Is there still a UKIP? I mean, gone bankrupt.
It's in a lot of trouble.
It's got big debts.
It's in a lot of trouble. I thought the court judgment this week was vindictive, to say the very least. All I can say is I'm somewhat detached from it. If they want my help, I'm here.
Okay, and just finally, you've got a very fine blue suit on there.
Marine blue.
Yeah, marine blue. It's a bit like these passports, but apparently they're going to be made in Germany.
Yeah, that really isn't good enough, is it? That really isn't good enough. I think I've no doubt that's happened under EU procurement rules, something else that we need to sort out.
Well, I think it was just under general government procurement rules that you have blind tendering, and it happens that the Germans have offered a cheaper.
Whether that's the government or the EU,
should we reverse it? I mean, does taking back control mean printing our own passports?
Yeah, I think in this case it does, yes.
Okay, Nigel Farage, thank you very much indeed.